All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I'm back again with another video. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that you guys are staying safe. So, you guys, I did just want to come on here and basically just talk about actually an important topic that I don't think I really touched on, which I kind of did, but I kind of did not. As far as boundaries and talking about a violation of boundaries, which a lot of narcissists will do, or I guess you do have some normal people that can do this too, unfortunately. But I did want to talk about this because we all kind of go through this, and I just wanted to talk about some of the things that you can do to kind of help and maybe how you can really protect yourself, protect your energy, protect your space, protect your boundaries, and really protect your mental health. So let's kind of talk a little bit about it. And if this is you guys' first time tuning in, again, my name is Joy. I am a narcissist abuse coach. I've been dealing with narcissists since 2010. And since 2016, I have been helping former victims, now survivors, heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. So, I did just want to go over that. Give me 1 second, you guys. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check in with something. So, yeah, you guys, let's talk about what to do when your boundaries have been violated, or do you feel like the narcissist violated you in some way, or do you feel like someone else has violated your personal space or your personal boundaries, and how to, kind of cope and how to handle. Let me know what you guys think of this. But let's just kind of get into it. What is a violation of boundaries? Let me see. Let's do specifically by narcissists. Okay, so this is interesting. So it says, you guys can Google this. It says narcissists often violate boundaries due to a lack of empathy and a sense of entitlement, viewing others as extensions of themselves rather than individuals with their own needs and limits. They may disregard emotional and physical privacy, demand constant attention, and misuse information shared about boundaries to further abuse. Narcissists may also project their own insecurity onto others, making them feel responsible for the narcissist's feelings or behavior. So, what's interesting, okay, so more details on how narcissists violate boundaries. So, a sense of entitlement and superiority. Narcissists often believe that they are superior to others and they have the right to expect favors and loyalty, leading them to ignore or disregard the boundaries of those around them. Lack of empathy. They struggle to understand or acknowledging the emotions and experiences of others, making it difficult for them to respect boundaries that protect those feelings. Control and manipulation. Narcissists may use chaos or other manipulative tactics to control others, often disregarding boundaries in the process. Okay, so here's one. Weaponizing boundaries. Once a narcissist knows what boundaries a person has, they may intentionally violate them to inflict damage and control, often making the victim feel guilty or responsible. Very interesting. Hold on. Let me see something, you guys. So this one, okay. So yeah, disregarding for personal space. They may invade personal space, demand constant attention, or violate emotional privacy, seeing others as an extension of themselves. Denial of responsibility. They may refuse to acknowledge the harm caused by their actions and even blame the victim for being too sensitive or too touchy. Impersonal treatment. They may treat others as objects or tools rather than as individuals with their own needs and desires, further disregarding boundaries. Now, some people may say, hey, you know what? Some people may have to set boundaries with a narcissist, right? Especially if you live with one, or maybe you have a parent that's one, or maybe you have a roommate situation. And, for some of you, you may have to set boundaries in a particular shape, form, and fashion. And then others of you, maybe you might be able to go no contact and stay no contact, right? So you may be wondering, well, like, well, Joy, how do I set boundaries with a narcissist? Sometimes boundaries can work, and especially if you're not living with a narcissist. Now, if you're living with a narcissist and you tell them, like, hey, if you do this, hey, it's kind of I don't really appreciate that, can you not do that? Now sometimes a narcissist, if they know what a violation is, or they know what a boundary you kind of set with them, a lot of times they will go out of their way to do it anyway, that kind of thing. So sometimes it works to set boundaries with a narcissist if you're not in contact, or you don't have to live with them, or you don't have to be around them and things like that. But if you are kind of like living with them, or you have to be around them for some reason, a situation, a roommate thing, then you have to maybe, and hopefully, you maybe have a plan that's going to kind of help you to, move eventually, and, get your own independence, do your own thing. A lot of times having a conversation with a narcissist probably is not worth it, but in your mind you can set the boundary. Like, in your mind you can kind of create detachment, you can begin to distance yourself, you can kind of disengage and things like that, right? So, but if you are not around this narcissist, I think that setting the boundaries are probably going to be a lot easier for individuals in that type of situation and dynamic. But there was actually something that I wanted to talk about, you guys, and it left my mind, but we'll bring it back up in just a bit here. So, do narcissists violate boundaries? It says narcissists are notorious for ignoring physical boundaries. They may enter your space without permission, touch you in ways that make you feel uncomfortable, or use your belongings without asking. So, very interesting. What to do when a narcissist doesn't respect your boundaries. Be firm and clear in your boundaries. Make sure to communicate your boundaries in a calm and assertive way. Do not engage in arguments or debates with the narcissist. If they continue to argue, calmly explain why you are setting the boundary. So interesting. It says, unfortunately, it says, what kind of person violates boundaries? It says, people who are manipulative, narcissistic, and have a poor sense of self tend to repeatedly violate personal boundaries. So not everyone, I know this is going to sound really crazy, you guys, but not everybody that violates a boundary is a narcissist. Like, you could have just normal people that are just manipulative and may not be narcissistic, but you do have a lot of narcissists that do violate boundaries. And then a lot of times people that are manipulative and narcissistic do have a poor sense of self. So hopefully that makes that clear, because I want you guys to know that not everybody is a narcissist, because I know that, okay, I know that term has been going around a lot, where everybody's saying, narcissist this, narcissist that, but not everybody is a narc. So I just want to make that clear. So let's say you're in a living situation with a narcissist. It says cut off all contact. All contact, the number one is the most efficient way to ignore a narcissist is to cut off all contact. This means blocking their phone number, unfollowing them on social media, avoiding places they hang out. And when you eliminate opportunities for interaction, it's easier to ignore them. And we're also going to talk about how the narcissist will disrespect you. And you could also have normal people that disrespect you too. So, and we'll definitely do a video about that. Hold on. So I know it can be unsettling, when stuff like this happens. So yeah, it says, why do narcissists disrespect you? It says the root cause of their disrespectful behavior often stems from a constant craving for respect from others. They have a grandiose thought and behavior patterns. They feel superior to others. They believe they're special. So that's interesting. But also, let's just talk about people that are normal that may violate you, or maybe they may disrespect your boundaries, or maybe they violate your boundaries, right? Let's kind of talk about that, because remember, everyone's not a narc. But A violation of boundaries occurs when someone disrespects or infringes upon an individual's physical, emotional, psychological information, space, or limits. It says it can manifest in various ways, including disrespecting a person's no, overstepping a personal space, or manipulating someone into doing something they don't want to do. So be mindful of that and make sure you're not doing that. And if you are, maybe you might want to ask yourself why and what's the root cause. And just understand that if you are disrespecting a person's boundaries, it's not really going to get you the outcome that you're looking for. So, just be careful, right? So the types of violations are: boundary violations can be physical, like touching someone without permission; emotional, like sharing someone's secrets or making assumptions about their feelings; or psychological, like manipulating someone into doing something they don't want to do. So, for instance, ignoring someone's no, pushing them to do something they don't want to do, invading their personal space, or sharing confidential information without their consent are all examples of boundary violations. Why boundaries matter. Healthy boundaries are crucial for maintaining well-being and healthy relationships. They help individuals feel safe, respected, and in control of in their own lives. Consequences for violations. When boundaries are violated, individuals may experience a range of negative consequences, including stress, resentment, or psychological harm. Responding to violations. When someone violates your boundaries, it's important to address the issue assertively and establish clear limits for future interactions. Now, in some cases, I would recommend, yes, address a situation. But if, let's say, you're in a situation and it's just something that is short term, it's not like anything that you see yourself being in for the next few years or so. In my opinion, I mean, you can talk about it to people that you trust and you care about, but maybe the person that is violating you, like not really like physically violating you, but maybe let's say they violate your personal space or they disrespect your boundaries. I would say, if you're not going to be around that person for a long period of time, or you don't have to be around them, I would say you can ignore it for the moment, unless if it's not like anything that's too harmful per se. But I just feel like you probably can ignore it and then just try to focus on where you are going next. You get what I'm saying? Unless you do see yourself being in that type of situation and environment long term. But if not, I would say just ignore it and focus on where you're trying to go, and just try to limit future interactions with that individual, because you can probably see that they're manipulative, or they're like negative, or they may cause you stress, and that they're the type of person that will try to take advantage of you, right? Or try to manipulate the situation, and they obviously don't respect you. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, it says a boundary violation is an action which penetrates the physical, emotional, and/or behavioral boundaries of another person. Uh, yeah. It says, what type of personalities have a lack of boundaries? Codependent personalities. Codependent individuals often exhibit a lack of boundaries. They allow their lives to be dictated by the needs of others and can feel a sense of worth only when they are helping or needed by someone else. Very interesting, you guys. Yeah. Yeah, it says, what are violation boundaries look like? It says violating boundaries often involves disregarding a person's limit or personal space. It can manifest such as ignoring requests, overstepping personal space, offering unsolicited advice, or using manipulative tactics. Essentially, it's all about the person's actions or words that disregard or intrude on another person's sense of self, comfort, and autonomy. And yeah, if you're dealing with this, you might feel bad, or you might feel, you know, like you did something wrong. I just want to reassure you, like, it's nothing that you have done. So I don't want you guys to take this personal, whether if it's a narcissist that's done this or if it's a normal person that's just manipulative and maybe controlling or something like that, or just who knows. But just keep in mind, or that person has poor boundaries, or that person has a poor sense of self. Try your best not to internalize it, because it's nothing that you're doing. I would just say just try your best to just get away from that person and pretty much just stay away from the person. That's what I would say. And just protect your personal stuff or information, things like that. Yeah. And just be the type of person where, you're able to handle rejection. Okay, I know, it's nobody wants to hear no. Nobody, wants to feel rejected, but you have to remember that everything happens for a reason, and everybody you're gonna have to hear no. So it's important that you have to learn how to hear that more than anything, because not everybody's gonna say yes to you. You get what I'm saying? So, and the thing is why sometimes I don't really recommend, especially if you're dealing with a narcissist, it's not too good to tell them too much, because they're gonna use that against you. You get what I'm saying? But if it's a normal person and they keep violating your boundaries over and over and over again, I don't really recommend even really bringing it to their attention, unless, like I said, you're gonna be around them for a long period of time. If it's just a temporary thing, I would say just ignore it, let it go, do your healing work, and just move on with your life. You get what I'm saying? And just kind of go from there. Yeah. Yeah, or people that are codependent. Those are people who will disrespect your boundaries as well. Yeah. Yeah, so like for instance, what kind of a person doesn't respect boundaries, right? So, people who struggle to respect boundaries are manipulative people, narcissistic, or codependent. These individuals may benefit from a lack of boundaries in relationships, push back against established limits, and prioritize their own needs over the well being of others, which, in my opinion, is really selfish. But unfortunately, you do have those type of people, and you just want to stay away. That's what I would say. Just stay away from those individuals, to be honest with you, because you're important too. You matter. It's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to say no. Like, you get what I'm saying? And a lot of times when people try to, intrude on your boundaries, it's because, again, they're trying to be pushy. They're trying to be manipulative and trying to like get something, that it's already been established that it was a no. Like, you get what I'm saying? Or it's already been established, like, hey, there's a boundary, and they're just trying to push you past that boundary. But yeah, again, manipulative people will do this. People may intentionally disregard boundaries to control others, to fulfill their own desires. Narcissists, individuals with narcissistic traits, may lack empathy and struggle to recognize the needs of others, leading to boundary violations. Codependent individuals, these individuals may sacrifice their own needs and boundaries to please others, often in an attempt to gain approval or affection. Pushy people, excuse me, pushy people. Some individuals may repeatedly push boundaries in a pushy or verbally aggressive manner, often due to their learned behaviors or lack of skills in understanding and respecting others' limits. Um, Borderline personality disorder. People with BPD may struggle with emotional regulation and boundary setting, which can lead to challenges in maintaining healthy relationships. People pleasers. Individuals who prioritize pleasing others over their own needs may have difficulty establishing and enforcing boundaries. Interesting. So, yeah. So, I hope that this made sense, you guys. Yeah. So, I would just say just be careful. Yeah, it just says how to deal with a family who doesn't respect boundaries. It just says start by clearly communicating your limits, be assertive but kind, and practice self care. And if they continue to ignore your boundaries, just consider limiting interactions and seeking support from others. I would just say it's best to just limit interaction. Just like, you get what I'm saying? It's just, you have to think about a person's values and morals. And if they don't have that, yeah, it says, what kind of people push boundaries? Low self esteem or self serving. Some were raised that way or are struggling to connect in a manner that has previously failed them. So that's unfortunate, but it's not really your fault that a person has low self-esteem or they're self-serving, so it's really sad when you think about it, right? But it is what it is. But anyway, you guys, I hope that this was helpful. You guys, make sure that you um do give this video a like, share, and subscribe. Let's see. Yeah, another thing too is it says how to set a boundary with someone who ignores you. It says clearly communicate the needs and limits only if you're going to be around this individual long term. If it's not long term, you don't have to do this. But I would say if it's like between a year to 2 to 3 years or longer, yes. But I don't recommend being around anybody that is, overstepping their boundaries. But communicate clearly your needs and limits, enforce consequences for violations, and be consistent in your actions. So, yeah. So, kind of be specific on saying, hey, you could say, I don't want to be interrupted when I'm working, or I need a break from these conversations, or hey, I would appreciate you, respecting my personal space, that kind of thing. Things like that. Yeah, it says don't give in, refuse to be pressured or manipulated, reaffirm your boundaries. If someone's ignoring your boundaries, affirm them clearly and consistently, even if that means repeating yourself, focus on yourself. So if they ignore you, focus on your own well-being and self-care. Yeah, don't expect it. Yeah. And don't expect people like that either disrespect you or disrespect your boundaries. Don't expect them to change. People like that don't change. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I love you guys. I will see you on the next video. Please be sure to give this video a like, share, subscribe. Let me know what were your thoughts, you guys. What were your thoughts? I'd love to know, do people overstep their boundaries with you? Do you feel that someone maybe has violated your personal space or something? Or let me know. I would love to know your thoughts, your takeaways, and things like that. So all right, I love you guys always. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.